You're known as obviously a great player, teacher, but also a customizer, and not only for people playing traditional styles like yourself, but also people like Howard Levy, who plays a very kind of different style. Could you say a little bit about your customizing for players?
Well, I'm a natural born craftsman, and when I started playing the harmonica just about, I don't know, almost 30 years ago, I found it quite tempting to want to explore and poke my nose into the goings on and the workings of the harmonica. I was very curious about how things worked, and found that at that time in my life when I was just out of college, that I could earn some extra income by doing some harmonica repairs, and I would like to think of as basic modifications. At that time, I had the ability to do some pretty fancy engraving on brass, and so I was selling these harmonicas, which I believe, I have a hard time remembering that far back. I believe I was calling them custom harmonicas because I was hand making the cover plates and hand machining the comb of the harmonicas, and I could put some elaborate engraving. At one point, I was engraving individuals' names on the harmonica. So I made a interesting little name for myself in the summer of 1992 doing that. And the story about customizing from my personal perspective, where it really gets interesting, is a few years later when the harmonicas that Hohner was making that were coming new off the assembly line were complete total crap. And the professional players that I knew in the couple of years that I'd been doing experimenting, many of them came to me in a state of desperation because what they were trying to buy and play was not functioning. And so, yeah, that was a very dark period in harmonica history, the mid 1990s. Ben Marks actually did a remarkable article about that only came out about a year ago. I think it's some kind of collector's thing, collector's blog, and he really interviewed Steve Baker and other players about that time period where I think the title of it was How a Bunch of Harmonica Geeks Saved the Soul of the Marine Band or something like that. And so yeah, I was very, 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 very busy just trying to make crappy harmonicas play somewhat very good and make them playable. And so I met many or most of my professional relationships started at that period in time. So I certainly have known Howard from the early 1990s, and he doesn't live that far from me, so we are able to connect here and there. Yeah. So, that to me is like the start of it. I don't even remember. Did I answer your question?
I'm not sure what I asked. So, I mean, does that mean you're setting up a lot of harmonicas for overblow players? Then do you get a lot of requests for that sort of thing?
Well, I do get requests for that, although nowadays I mainly just try to help out Howard. Mm-hmm. And I've been referring work to other folks. Mm-hmm. I guess that with Howard achieving a Grammy Award, that's a pretty high watermark for playing the harmonica in that style. And my personal passion really is connected more with the early history of blues, folk, and old time styles. And so I guess I would say I've been trying to help players more who are associated with those genres of music,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to this more contemporary approach to playing.
Sure.